right, welcome to the Gate Expectations podcast. This is episode 2. Thank you for coming back and tuning in. If you haven't watched the first episode, it's with Steven Trifanowski, the Triff God. I highly suggest you go check that out. But my guest at this time, he is arguably one of the best players in the world. He's a world competitor, a UDS champion, multiple YCS champion, and they recently just opened up his own dueling academy with Yu-Gi-Oh! Coaching. I'm joined here on the show with Jesse Kotton. Jesse, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. It's hard not to have you on, man. The list of accolades you for itself. And I've seen you grow throughout the years. You've been playing this game for a long time, and so have I. I've seen you as a young
we've known each other for a long time. I think.
And now you're
10, so
and you're now 20 years old now, and it's amazing to see that a guy that is not too far away from me just evolve into one of these elite players. One of the best in the world, man. Like, how do you feel from how you were before up until now?
It's kind of crazy. I mean, it's a gradual transition, so not like it's one day I went from being worse to where I am now. But looking back, it's kind of crazy. I wouldn't have thought it. I remember when I was struggling to get my first YCS top, I thought it was almost impossible. Then winning a YCS seemed impossible.
Yep.
So it's hard to say. Would never imagined it.
Yeah, and those accomplishments are in itself very difficult to do. I mean, I've only got one YCS top, and then you were the one, ironically enough, who was the one who knocked me out of that one. So let's say, for example, you're coaching. What could you do to bring players among my level where we're kind of on the fringe, we can top regionals here and there, not consistently, and just try to get up to that next level of getting consistent YCS tops? What could you do for me?
Well, everyone is different, right? So not everyone's going to have the same problems that are preventing them from going further, whether it be pressure, so they need help kind of focusing their mindset a little bit more, whether it be just understanding their deck a little better, so practicing the math and stats by Yu-Gi-Oh! Even better deck choices, and a lot of players struggle with. Sometimes it's just technical play, where it's decent. They know most of the standard plays, but they struggle to adapt in the more awkward scenarios that may not come up often, but will still cost you at least one match a tournament, and that match will often be the decision or the deciding factor between topping, bubbling. So,
Mike,
different for everybody.
Yeah, understandable. I mean, everyone's different, so I'm assuming there's a lot of private tutoring between yourself and the other person that you're helping out. But do you have multiple people kind of help out with one person, or is it just simply one coach helping one person?
So when you sign up, you get access to a whole Discord community where all the coaches are a part of, and you can ask general questions. You get responses from coaches, responses from other people. You are assigned one specific coach. But oftentimes, a coach will reach out to another coach and say, "Hey, we want your opinion on this because we're all good players. We all have different opinions as well. We're not all uniform." I had Gabe Vargas asked me the other day for what he thought the best build would be for a Rocket deck. So even though you're specifically only really doing the coaching sessions on one-on-one, you still have access to a lot more tools and people than just the one coach.
Who is on this Duelist Academy Yu-Gi-Oh! Coaching?
So right now, in terms of the coaches, we have myself. I'm gonna do my country. Myself, Gabe Vargas. We have Rafael Nevin from the Netherlands, Vladis Baranovskis from Ireland, Max Reynolds, Nishad Larengo, Aaron Furman, Asalo Athathan and Ryan Levine from the States. And Bowden Temnick from Australia.
How did this all start?
Oh, sorry. And Jeff Jones from America as well.
Jeff Jones. Yeah, I just saw Jeff Jones too. Man, he's one of the most creative professional players in this game right now. Major respects to that guy.
Yeah, for sure.
How did this all start?
Honestly, it's been something Bowden wanted to do for a while, and he kind of sprung it on us for the most part. So, of those 11 people, all of us except for Jeff and Gabe were in for the start. And Bowden kind of just sprung on us after we all kind of agreed to it, but hadn't really had any plans to start. He kind of sprung it on us. Hey, I set it up, let's start. And then we kind of just had to because it was already going. And yeah, I mean, there's not really anything crazy to it. Kind of Bowden said he wanted to do it and made a Patreon account and just started it. And it was either we kind of helped them or didn't. We all just decided to play along with it because we kind of wanted to do it too.
Like, how much traffic are you getting with this coaching?
That's a lot right now. Currently, I'm at capacity. I don't take any more students
Yep.
because I also have an online store, eBay and TCG player that I have to manage. So I don't have time to do too much coaching.
Yep.
But it's pretty like large. Like when I had more time, I had about 8 students coaching about 40 hours a month. I know other people are around the same as me. Some people have more now that I've stopped on taking on students. I know Asala and Ashad take on a lot, like a dozen students they have at once. So it's pretty popular now. And then we also have other tiers.
Yep.
We do have a premium content kind of channel where we post like interesting theories, deck discussions, or just opinions from the top players, or 11 of us, as well as some guest uploads from other elite players that are exclusive to people who either are part of the coaching or just pay for that content. And then we also have a community tier where all you do is join the Discord, because in the Discord we have frequent Q&As with the teachers. We also have a discussion segment where yesterday I think we had one of the coaches, Ryan Levine, going over desires math with one of the other students for a solid hour, like going back and forth. And then we also have tournaments for anybody who's part of the Discord.
Oh, nice.
Free box tournaments. So whole lot of stuff going on in Duelist Academy. Oh, and we also have Deck Doctors, which is a partially different team of duelists. Basically, it's people can hand in their deck list, and it's a quick kind of fix-up and with explanations, and work with any time frames. Like we have some people saying, hey, my locals or my group of friends has banned Halka Fibrax. Work within this frame of reason, and we can work around that. So we have a lot of things, not just coaching, but it's been pretty busy. I think we're all kept up with a lot of stuff to do.
Oh, I mean, the list of names that you throw out, I mean, these are a lot of like high-profile names, so I can understand why people would want coaching from these guys. Like, you guys have the credentials. You guys have practically done almost everything in this game. I mean, why would you not if you want to get better at this?
Yeah, it's if you want to get better, it's definitely a great option.
Yeah. So, and how rewarding has this experience been for you? Like doing all this coaching.
Right now it's okay. I mean, it's not my favorite thing to do, to be honest. I enjoy business strategy a little more. Growing that business itself is actually a lot more rewarding for me.
Yeah.
But I also, at the same time, don't want to take a back position because I feel like if I don't coach people, it's not holding my weight with the rest of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, teaching is not my favorite thing to do in the world. I'll say that. So
it's fair.
I'm not going to say it's been super rewarding. Personally, I feel much more rewarded to see businesses grow because of strategic planning.
Yeah.
So that's what I prefer to do. Like, I handle a lot of the financials for the company.
Yep. So, man, man, like I really want to get better at this game too, man. So, like, I really hope that if I join this, you guys could really give me some tips because you've seen me play.
Yeah.
I'm there, but I'm not like that elite tier level that you are on, like you, Chauvin, or Gabriel on. So it's a hard teetering process to really get over that kind of hump.
Mm-hmm.
So like, kind of tell me, like, how did you evolve yourself from just, this like kind of like middling player kind of and up to this elite tier status?
Again, it's gradual. Like you're always learning, and I can't say I'm perfect, obviously, now either.
Mm-hmm.
I think I first started traveling to events in 2011 for Dragon Duels, like kind of like I'd go to anything within driving distance of Toronto, 10 hours or less. So I was at like Nats 2011 or Nats 2012. I mean, not 2011. Nats 2012, 2013, like YC Secaucus 2013. All the Torontos, actually not the one Toronto. I had a family event, and all these events, like I would do okay. I would make it to day 2 with potential of topping. So it was never like X2 once a weekend. It was like X2, get in there.
Yep.
And I'd fall short And then I started topping a couple regionals too, so it was a little weird. I can't say there was a moment where anything clicked because I think with every event I slowly got better.
Yeah.
Even in 2013, like I went X2 to YCS and just didn't top, which sucks. And then I don't know. It's just gradually getting better. Like, I remember the one YCS New Secaucus. I went 7-0, then lost to Patrick Hoban round 8 in a feature match. You guys can read. He basically just FTK'd me twice in a row. And at the time, he was also a lesser-known player.
Yep.
And so I thought I was doing well. I 7-1, and then I made day 2 with a good chance of topping. But last round, I drew because I kind of cracked under pressure. I conformed to a standard play. Everyone always, back then, would go Pike Dragoons would be standard strong opening. I looked in my hand, and I always like to be conservative. I'd rather be reactive. When my opponents show their cards first, then I know exactly what to do to beat them.
Yep.
So I had a Lind in hand, I had Pike, and I had Dragoons. And my play style would have been set Lind and pass. But this is something I was a little victim to a couple times before I got really good was I conform to the generally popular play, which is summon Pike Dragoons. And I did that.
Yep.
And I got punished because my opponent went Monster Reborn my Dragoons, Mind Control my Pike, make Dweller. And then I lost. Or I lost that game, and then game 2 became a draw. Or game 2 I won, and that turned into a draw. So it was more stuff like that, and eventually getting better and learning through deck building, learning how to play better. It was slow. Like, I remember I played Necros YCS 2015, which was YCS Columbus, where I had just topped 2 regionals, and I just barely missed out on topping Chicago the month before it. Yep. So I played Necros again. I threw in some tech cards that I can't really remember what they were. But I remember them being not very good. They were supposed to be ways for me to get extra pluses once I already started playing, which were kind of decent in the mirror match, but even then they were just not amazing. And I went 3-3 this event because I kept losing to Floodgates and other random decks.
Yep.
Like Shadolls or Mistake or Thunder King. And it came to the realization that you can't focus on this flashy stuff. You need to have you need to build with purpose. You should. One of the biggest deck building philosophies I have is try find an issue or a problem to solve, and work to solve that problem. You don't need to do anything else. Don't throw stuff in because it's flashy or because you have some cool synergies. If those synergies unnecessary, drop it. Yep. And it's an issue people have a lot of the time with deck building. They don't understand because they're throwing cards in there that aren't really needed. And I was definitely a victim of it too. And the next event, I built my deck a lot better. I actually that was my first top. So. Gradual climb, but yeah.
Yeah, you've traveled to a vast amount of events, and I know I've seen you travel with your father a lot. He has to be your success, considering I know that you travel to big events and you drive with your father. He'd take a bunch of players with him, and how instrumental has your dad been?
Absolutely,
to your success?
Yeah. My dad is probably the most important person, just for where I am now. He always supported me play. I got the game. Got into Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was 5 because it was just at kindergarten. My best friend showed me. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. We would literally have 30 monsters. We just line them up against each other, and then it's like who's bigger. And obviously we had no idea what we were doing. We were 5. But my dad saw my interest and he picked up 2 structured decks, one for me, one for him, and he actually played with me. So my dad used to work in Edmonton, and I live in Toronto, so I'd only see him on the weekends.
Yep.
So at the time, that was his time to bond with me. So that's how we learned Yu-Gi-Oh! And then eventually he started taking me and my best friend to locals where we got more and more into the game. And then it became 2011. My first YCS was YCS Toronto, where I played Dragon Duels, and I met 2 kids who had traveled, one from Maryland, one from New Jersey. And my dad saw how much they interested me, so then he started doing the occasional road trip with me, and he absolutely supported me so much. And then if I was missing one crucial card from my deck, he'd help me out. I know my Twilight deck was missing a BLS, so he gave me a BLS to help me out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, his mentality was he's not going to drive me all the way somewhere and let me play with some without missing an integral card in my deck.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and then I think up until 2017, when I was old enough to be on my own, he would go with me, and he saw it as a chance to get to know my friends better and have some bonding time. So oftentimes when we travel to the bigger events, we'd have a car full of people come with, and my friends from locals, and it'd be fun. I do miss those trips, but now I am older. He doesn't travel with me anymore. He's got his own things to do.
When he traveled with you, would he actually stay at the event with you, or would he go off and kind of do something, explore the city?
Oh man. So for the first two events, he didn't play, or he didn't stick around, and he said he got really bored. So he picked it up again and started playing in 2012.
Yeah.
And remember, he did used to play with me, so he knew the rules. He doesn't really care about the game. Obviously, he's there for me. So he's a smart guy. If he wanted to do well, he actually could have.
Yeah.
But there was one YCS he nearly topped.
Wow.
He started off 5-0 and was going to win his bubble match day 2, round 10 or 11, whichever the last round was of Providence 2012. And it's a funny story because his favorite card is Marshmallow.
I love that card.
Yeah, I used to. And I told him it sucked because everyone's playing Photon Path Reparative in their deck. And he said, fine. And he took it out of his deck. And he's playing Light Ray Lightsworn. Little did I know he snuck it back into his deck before he registered. So he put it back in his deck, and then his final round, he has 3 Lightsworns in the grave, and 1 more in hand, a JD in hand, and a Marshmallow.
Yep.
His opponent has 2 Gigan X's and Mac in the Fortress on field, no other cards. None in hand, no back row. So if my dad can clear the field, he's going to win the game. If he leaves the 2 Gigan X's on the field, he's going to die. So my dad goes, instead of going normal summon the Lightsworn, crash summon JD, blow up the field, win, he goes, set Marshmallow. and his opponent gets Pablo Imperative and beats him.
No.
Which is ironic because he had it coming when he put that card in his deck.
Yeah.
It's I love that story because it's just so crazy how things turned out. So he didn't top, but he almost did, which is really funny to me. He stopped playing around 2015 when I was old enough to be on my own, and he could leave the venue, because before, even though he wasn't playing, he had to stay in the venue. You couldn't just leave me with a room of strangers. I was 12.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic to have a father who would support you in one of your favorite hobbies and kind of help you grow into the game. And look what you are now. You're one of the best players in the world. I'm not just saying because of me. Your credentials speak for yourself. So I mean, it's really nice to have a father who can do all that with you and really bond with it. I'm sure you two are very close.
Yeah, for sure.
Man. So, speaking of being elite, man, you're on Team Game Nation right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you've got a couple really good players on that too. I mean, Triff's on there, Chauvin's on there. I played him before. Dominic Couch, man, who just recently won the YCS Las Vegas, and then Ryan Hughes, Dragon Duel champion, World's champion, and now he's starting to come into his own. Just past the Dragon Duel, man. How does it feel to have teammates like that to work around you?
It's great. So a lot of these guys are locals for me, so I've seen them grow as much as I have, which is crazy because I kind of started getting in the game before them, so I've seen them all improve so much as players. I remember when a vast majority of them, weren't that good. I mean, obviously I wasn't good a long time ago either, so it's awesome to see how much they've grown and gotten better, and they all have great potential. So it's I'm happy to be part of it. I'm friends with everybody on the team.
How long have you been on Game Nation for?
So only about a year, but I actually was on it previously. Back when they were a smaller store, they didn't actually have a physical storefront yet. I'm very close with the owner, Ray. And I was on the team, but after I qualified for Worlds the first time, I got an offer from Pro Play Games to be on their team, and they were offering significantly better pay because Game Nation couldn't offer me too much. Was mostly just helping spawn. He only really paid for entry, and then I was wearing the shirt because I'm helping out a friend at the same time.
Yep.
And with the elite team giving me an offer of actual pay, Ray understood and urged me to switch teams. And then eventually, as the locals on Game Nation's team, such as Gabe Vargas at the time was on the team, and Ryan Yu and other the Canadian local players like Siobhan, all got better. The team made a competitive name for itself. And Ray's company grew more and eventually was able to pay better. There was no real reason for me to be on any other team than Game Nation to be able to match anything else. So I switched back to my home team.
I'm fairly certain that you were also on a couple other teams, or at least another team, at least Titan Games, I believe, was one of them.
Yeah, so I was actually originally on Team Cardmasters. which I ended up leaving when I was still young. I was 13. Then I didn't have a team until about 2016, where I was on Game Nation. Maybe it was 2015, but it was like around then. For 2 years, I was with them, and then I left for PPG, which I was on, I think, for 8 months. And then I was on Titan for almost a year as well, until that team dissolved, and then I went to Game Nation.
Man, you've been kind of bouncing around all over the place now, but you found yourself finally back home now, and you're pretty much the most powerful team in all of Canada, at least as far as I know. Since Card Masters kind of flopped over, and now Game Nation's kind of
absolutely
taking on
the
that spot.
strongest team in Canada, not even close.
Yeah. I can't think of any other team right now in Canada that would remarkably even come close to you guys. I mean, you guys are a dominating force, and I see it. Like, I see it all the time. It's tough playing against you guys, and I've played against at least half of you. So, man, it's really tough, and I'm glad to see this kind of level come out from you guys, because you guys, you're representing our country really when you go out to all of these events, and it's such a great feeling to see you guys like succeed, because we want you to do well. Like, you're representing our country. Like, many of us are within like a 2-hour radius of where you live, like Toronto.
Oh yeah, I see you every regionals.
Yeah, all the time. So it's great to see that like homegrown players like us are out there like dominating, kicking ass, and making it to like the biggest stages, and it's fantastic to see it. And not to mention, you're a Worlds competitor. You went in 2017, man. How was that feeling for you?
2017 is probably the worst one of the times I went. I didn't really know as many people back then, so I didn't get to do that much. I also didn't stay any longer. The other 2 times I went to the championships, I stayed longer, made a vacation out of it, and I stayed with friends. When I went in 2017, I was still underage, so I was able to bring my dad with me, and my mom flew along as well, but they paid for my dad. And what kind of sucked, though, is right before... So what Kami does is on the Thursday night before the event, they have a welcome dinner with all the players. They give you a bunch of food. They have a little speech, announcements, whatever, and you celebrate for the tournament. And unfortunately, my dad got some disease. I think the doctor said it was an amoeba at the dinner, and he had to be hospitalized the entire weekend, which is really unfortunate, because that was like my way of paying him back for helping me out so much, was giving him a flight to Japan. And he ended most of it with an $800 hospital bill, and nonstop like puking. So it really sucks. And honestly, the tournament didn't go amazing, but I met a lot of people that I'm very, very close friends with now at that tournament. So even though it wasn't the best, it was still great, and I have a lot of fond memories of it still.
Yeah, you said that wasn't your only World Championship that you attended to. You attended another one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I attended 2017, 2018, and 2019 World Championships.
Yeah, so because a lot of players here or maybe never get to Worlds, explain that experience.
Honestly, the World Championships is not like any other event. It's phenomenal. It almost feels like you're going to a sleepover camp with a bunch of the best duelists in the world. And I like to be sociable. I want to be friends with everybody, because it's a game, and that means you want to have fun. So I want to do well, but it's also important to me that I enjoy myself. So for 2017, it was harder for me to have as many experiences, but it was still great. So I can describe like the next year was probably one of my favorite trips I've ever been on. In 2018, I traveled a week early to Japan to stay by Tokyo. Like, it was me, Ryan Levine, who was another world competitor, Bowden Temnick, another world competitor, and then Brandon Eldridge, and Jesse Samek, Robbie Bayajian, and Aaron Furman. All really good players, but not part of that World Championships. We all stayed there, and we did some touring, and you created a lot of memories from that, which was amazing. Yep. And the actual tournament itself was great, but all those other experiences, unparalleled. And the World Championship also in itself was they pretty much rent out a whole floor for you, and you're there from usually it's like Wednesday morning. Wednesday you have pretty much a free day to do anything you want. It's really cool. You mingle with everybody. Everyone's chilling in the lobby or in their rooms. You get to know everybody, which is nice. All over the world. Thursday, they tell you all the special rules for Worlds. Make sure that there's no region differences. Everyone's on the same page. They go over the. Then you have to go over any cards you need for your deck. Konami will supply for you. You have to
Oh,
have
that's
submitted them
nice.
earlier, though. They can't tell you them on the spot. Usually you have to submit a list, your deck list beforehand, or a tentative deck list. They bring
Yep.
all those cards spare for you. Then you build your deck, you hand it in, and then they have their welcome dinner, which is really cool. Then Friday, your deck's already handed in. They want you to enjoy it. Konami takes you out to tour the city of that World Championship. So it was Japan. It was Kyoto, Tokyo, and Berlin for me were the three that I went to. And they take
They're
you
all
out touring,
beautiful
and you get to see
countries.
crazy different things, and you get to enjoy some time with friends. Like this year, we're in Berlin. We saw, what is it? The Arch in Berlin, the government building, the Reichstag, and then we had some free time. And the North American group, we split off. We went to see the Gestapo HQ, the
Mhm.
World War II Memorial. So you have some really cool experiences. It's amazing.
I mean, that has to be an absolutely phenomenal experience to be able to like go out to Berlin and Tokyo. I'm sure a lot of people will really wanted to go to Japan for one of those big things. And
Oh yeah,
uh,
Japan was. I don't want to sound biased, but I
yeah,
definitely think Japan was a better setting than Berlin, and maybe it's because I've been to Europe a lot more, but
yep.
it felt cooler. I enjoyed all three that I went to, but Japan was definitely more interesting.
Well, it was nice that you were able to go back in 2018 and to Japan, at least since your dad got sick in 2017. So
Yeah,
you at least got to like truly appreciate the country when you got brought out sightseeing and everything.
yeah, and that time I stayed for a week longer, so I got to see a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that was also your best performance too, I believe. I think you went top 8 with Guki, I believe, on that one.
I did, yeah, not really there yet, but keep on trying.
Of course, yeah. And then Bowden, I think he came second. I think he lost.
Yes,
He lost to Trick Stars, I believe.
yeah, we both lost to the same person in Top Cut.
Oh, did you? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
we
okay. So
both
you,
were undefeated until the same person. We played each other in Swiss, drew with each other, and
yep,
finished first and second in Swiss respectively. And then I lost to the Trickstar player in top 8. I beat the Trickstar player round 5. Then because I
yeah.
got paired down to him. Then we played again in top 8, and I just drew so bad game 2 and 3 that he beat me. And then he beat Bowden in the finals as well. So luck was on his side that weekend.
So, speaking of which, being on the world stage, like I'm pretty sure you've had a feature match at the World
I've
Championship.
actually have not.
You've not.
I find it crazy. I always tell people I've been 3 times,
Yeah.
and I like to think I'm a noteworthy player on the Konami's radar,
Yep.
but I have never been featured at the World Championships.
No, that's really weird. I always thought you were at least once, and at least a guy of your caliber anyway. And
Not
that's
once.
not once. I sympathize for you. I hope you get that opportunity next time we can actually get a World Championships going. Because we can't really get one this year, as Konami announced. And speaking of like the epidemic that's happening right now, like how have you been lately in the past like 3 months since we haven't really been able to like play like sanctioned tournaments outside of the card shops?
I've been very busy. Our locals aren't running anything because we're in the major cities.
Yep, of
So
course.
right now I got no real no physical playing. Honestly, it's just working on my online store and then Duelist Academy, secondary, and those two take up so much time.
Mhm.
That's pretty much it for me, right? Like it sounds kind of boring, but I'm using the time to really accelerate growth so that I can be kind of less intensive and enjoy myself more when this all ends.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are kind of using opportunities to, like explore different ventures or just kind of work on other projects right now since we really can't go out there. Hence this podcast for one thing.
Yeah,
but a lot of people just kind of know you from just Yu-Gi-Oh, but we actually don't know a whole lot of you just outside of Yu-Gi-Oh. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about yourself just outside of the game?
sure. So a lot of people don't know that I was actually born in South Africa.
Yep.
So I am actually African. Um, what else can I tell you about me? I am currently in university. Initially for accounting. Now I'm like doing economics. Not really sure what I want to really do. I'm not into the whole like entry level banking jobs. So I really want to be more decision making kind of spot. So I'm not sure how much I want to continue pursuing these type of routes. I'm going to try to finish my degree regardless, though. But I've been enjoying the entrepreneurship aspects of the two businesses, my online store and Duelist Academy, a lot more. So as long as those continue to see success, I'm probably going to stick down the route of owning my own business and doing stuff like that.
I think you did martial arts at one point in time.
Oh yeah, I'm a black belt in karate. Yes.
Oh, nice, just karate. And how long have you been doing that for?
I haven't been doing it recently, to be honest. I've been very busy since getting university. So I did it since I was like, I don't know. I want to say like I was 8 until I was 17.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
and
it.
then when I left high school, when I had university and I started traveling more for Yu-Gi-Oh, I didn't really have much time for it.
Don't underestimate Jesse Kotton out there. He's got a black belt. That's bad. Now I want to mess with you a lot less. As if I don't already want to mess with you already in the card game. Now I don't want to mess with you physically, even though I've got like 11 years on you still. And speaking of appearances, you have to tell me what's with the potato. Like,
Oh man,
you wear it all the
people
time.
don't really understand the reference, its origin, but it's people like it, so I go along with it.
Yep.
Honestly, it started off in like 2015ish when I was growing in skill level among the local duelists, and we had these awesome cash tournaments for the YFCC, which you commentated, so
Yes,
you're very familiar with them. Maybe before 2015, more like 2014, I guess. The 2014, 2015 era, like around then, they were bringing the Toronto community together. So we'd have these large cash tournaments, and we all got to know each other pretty well. And kind of as I was proving myself to be one of the better duelists, not at the top yet, but I was still like doing decent. Like I managed to top a good amount of them. And as I was doing that, I got branded the name Potato Face simply because someone threw my Photoshop my face on a potato. And it was stupid, but my philosophy with that type of stuff is you can argue about it, get all upset, or you can play along with it and have fun.
Yep.
So I don't really take offense to it. I'll play along with it, and it stuck, and I don't really care. I'm happy that it's a joke. And throughout the years, people kept calling it, and then one year it was, I want to say, March 2017 regionals. One of my best friends, Shaq, said if he buys me a potato suit and he pays me to wear it, $20 for every round I win, will I wear it? And I'm not turning that down. That's free money.
I was going to say
I get to have a crazy fun experience. I have a good excuse for it now that I'm wearing this. Like, I make some money and it's fun. So I did it. Now I own this potato suit. He let me keep. And now I always tell anybody, $20 around, then I'll wear it in the next YCS. So I've worn it now at YCS New Jersey, 2 regionals, and YCS Toronto, and I enjoy it. And it's actually my name of my online store business is Pro Potato Cards. So I've really gone along with it. Yeah, it's cool. And I've even had people come up to events with raw potatoes and make me sign them. So I lean into it, and I have no regrets.
Yeah, that's good. It's great that you're not taking yourself too seriously. That you can make laugh about it.
I really can't stress it enough. It is a game at the end of the day. Like I know there are a lot of things I could be doing to really get an upper edge in the game a lot of the time.
Yeah,
that aren't worth it because it means me sacrificing my enjoyment. Like I'm not gonna sit there and try and mind trick my opponent with some dumb rapport. I genuinely want to have a good time in these events. And my strategic moves in the game should suffice. And the small edges I get from the dumb tricks, it's not worth it. I'd rather just be there and enjoy myself. And that applies to many other small edges as well.
Jeez, I don't know if I'd want to take that bet up on you because, at Toronto Regionals, at least we get roughly almost 9 rounds on average nowadays. So I could be losing like $180, at least from 140, 180, because you usually at least can go X2 at majority of these events, if not better. And usually it's better. But Jesus, $140. I don't know if I want to lose that much money just for you to be in a potato.
It's happened 4 times.
Have you had any repeat customers?
Yeah, 2. Shaq's done it twice, and my friend Assad has done it twice.
Shaq, Attack, Shaquille Leslie. Good man.
Awesome guy.
Yeah, love that, man. Jeez. And, with all these regionals that, when you go around, you travel around all over the place. I've seen you go in, like southern United States, like eastern United States. I've seen you go all over the place.
Everywhere, pretty much.
Yeah, everywhere. And you're not coming in with the same deck. I see you come in with a creative deck here and there. I think in Buffalo once you actually main decked some God cards in your Thunder deck. Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of creativity in there. Like, how do you have the intestinal fortitude to come in with these events and actually do well with all these kinds of techs, tricks, and different deck lists?
So part of it's having fun. Not all the deck lists are going to be crazy, strict logic based. Like that God card deck, I'm not going to tell you there was any competitive advantage in playing those cards. It strictly turned out was I was rooming with my buddy Aaron Furman before the regional, and he said he joked around, let's side deck Wing Dragon or Ra for when they spear mode us. I said, let's just main deck Wing Dragon or Ra as a joke. He responds, I dare you to main deck all 3 God cards. And I said, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And then I did. And then I beat him in the tournament with the God cards. So, perfect irony. Another one of my favorite stories. But typically, I don't like playing the same thing as everyone else unless I feel like I'm very advanced in the mirror match, which is not easy to do. It requires a lot of dedication and time. And there are maybe like 2 or 3 formats in general where I'd say that I have that strict edge. Most of the time, it's going to be I feel like I can come in with a better deck or a better perspective. That is, I follow the same logic I talked about before. I look for a problem in the deck or in the meta, and I aim to solve it. So with Thunder, I slowly cultivated it, looking at different issues the deck had and improving upon them until I had these perfect builds. And then you adapt as the meta goes along. New issues become apparent. You work to solve it. And eventually you reach a point where you can't, which is why I switched over to Striker for Nationals last year. And I had this very teeny deck that I did. Because I approach Striker now with what strengths deck have, what issues it has, and working to eliminate as many weaknesses as possible and keeping the strengths as strong as possible. Mm-hmm. So that's generally the approach I take. And oftentimes you're not going to solve these weaknesses by playing the same things as everyone else, because that's probably an issue in itself. You can't play the same deck; you have no edge. So I do like to play other stuff. But I also feel like if I'm not motivated to like learn the deck or have fun with it, then I'm not going to do well. I'm not going to be wanting to play. I'm going to be kind of just wishing it was over. So there are times I've intentionally strayed away from a deck that was better because I haven't enjoyed it. I think that's fine. I'm not going to do well with the deck I can enjoy because I'm not going to be invested in learning it or learning the intricacies or even just wanting to play.
Do you find that playing all these different decks at least, keeps the game fresh for you so that way you're not playing like the same thing over and over again?
There are some decks I can keep on playing forever, but there are some decks for sure that I would get bored of very quick. I can't say that I play too much during the week though because I'm busy, but so I don't think it's too much of an issue for me to get bored as much. But I guess if the format's really long, like I would never have handled Striker for 2 full years.
Yeah. Which is funny enough because I ran it for about a year and a half because it was the only deck I had and I didn't feel like building another deck. So I definitely got bored of it after about the first year playing it. So like that's just me anyway. But I mean, like with how much you play, but with how much you play, I'm certain that there's going to be like a little bit of like teching and a little bit of like fun little mixes that you'd throw into it, considering how many events you play a year as opposed to everybody else. Oh man, though. But does all this traveling is this a little bit taxing on you, considering that you travel more than like the average player?
I mean, sometimes it doesn't matter. Like I can handle jet lag pretty well. Yep. Other times it's like kind of crazy. I think it was last year around my midterms, so this was awful, and I really wish I didn't do this, but I already booked everything.
Yeah.
Was I traveled back to back 3 consecutive weekends, Panama, then London, then Peru.
Yep.
And I had midterms going on, and I was running my business, and that was probably just the hardest 3 weeks I've had in terms of amount of work and stress because I was just so much to deal with. I couldn't deal with everything.
Yep.
And London, I was just so off point because it was it was the middle one, and I had so much going on, and did terribly because it just wasn't in it. So it can be hard, but a lot of the time it's for fun, so it's not like super crazy. Like as long as you're not doing too many in a row, it's fine. Yep. I typically enjoy that, and that's why I constantly go to as many as possible. And when it is more exotic places, I always try to stay longer and have a vacation. Like Australia early this year, I was there for an extra 2 weeks beforehand. And earlier this year, I had March break coincide right between UDS in Tulsa and the YCS in Vegas. So I went to UDS. I went to the UDS. Then after that, I had my March break. I went with my friends to Cali. Stayed Cali for a week. We drove to Vegas and spent some extra time in Vegas. So I always try to make a little more of a trip out of it. So while it can be busy, it's enjoyable. So I have no regrets.
It's a lot of money to kind of travel around to all of these events. I'm assuming like Game Nation or whatever team you're working with at the time, definitely like helps out in footing some of these bills to get you around.
In all honesty, they don't help the most. I don't expect them to. It's not a very profitable game because
Yeah,
watching this game is not fun. If I'm going to be honest, it's not a good viewership game, which is terrible for a game because that means you can never really get big. You can never create huge audiences,
yep,
and sponsorship for the same reason isn't very good. You can't really get ads through as much. So they don't. No sponsor in the game pays incredibly well.
yeah,
They just pay a little bit, but it still helps. Honestly, with all the traveling, I am fortunate. I live with my family still. I'm not on residence for campus. I don't have any bills. So I'm able to put everything I have into my company. I have no real external liabilities, and my company is able to generate enough for me to afford the traveling.
Oh, that's good then. Well, let's go more to your company then, because this is it's something that I'm not actually too familiar with. Like, why don't you tell me more about it?
It's nothing special. It's just another vendor, pretty much. Um, I found when I was younger that I can often predict future cards that would go up because of my knowledge in the meta, almost like a stock. And I would buy a bunch of copies of the card and it would go up over time. And it worked pretty often for me. So eventually I built up some money. Um, I had originally been saving for a car like I'd put money into. And then I decided I just take public transit everywhere. I emptied out the savings account and turned it into an actual vending company and where I the normal stuff where I buy, sell product, buy and sell from customers. And I think what gives me a competitive edge is, that I'm kind of able to better protect prices with cards. Like I can tell you, one of my better investments recently was we bought a Garden Rose Maiden. The card is very, very good right now. Has one printing. Not easy to get in that one printing. So I bought about 200 copies of that card, and they've about tripled in value. So stuff like that helps me a lot to grow the business. And I think one of the other things that I have access to is because I travel so much, I built up a lot of international connections, and I can
Yep.
do a lot of business abroad that people don't have access to because I have it in with the bigger vendors in Europe, South America. I still trying to get better in touch with Japan, but I do have some. And of course, North America, I know a lot of the big vendors, and I have good relationships with them.
And how do you feel like your business has been so far as far as success goes?
It's been great. It's been constant growth so far, even during COVID. And it's been a lot to deal with, but it's been good. Eventually, I'm gonna have to look to expand and get like a storefront, maybe. So who knows?
Are you the only person that's just working on this business right now?
Um, I've had two different employees at different points. Right now, I have just one working
Yep.
12 hours a week, just helping me sort because a lot of just cards need to be put in the right spot. But it's mostly me. Like I put in the hours myself, put in the time to get where I am.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely see you post a lot on Facebook where you're calling for a lot of like bulk cards or like you put out buy lists. So I'm assuming you get a lot of like responses from when you make those calls.
Sure, not crazy amounts. Oftentimes, I will resort to just buying them online at market price because, in those cases, I just have an intuition the card will appreciate in value, so I'll go with that route. And that usually just works fine. Like I don't need to be fancy and try and make money the way other vendors do. I play to my strength, that I can treat it like a stock market that I'm well versed in, and that's led to my success.
Are you thinking about eventually branching out to starting vending at big events wherever you go?
It's hard for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be honest. I still love events. I love the competition, the playing. So I would much rather get to the point where I have a store and I can have an employees vend, and then I'm still playing. That would just be the ideal scenario for me. Also, it is hard because Canada, you need like working visa to event the States, and Canada only has one event a year anyways.
Yep.
So I don't think I would currently go for preventing an event. I'd currently just still play.
How much time do you think you invest into your own business? Let's say for like a week.
80 hours. It's a lot.
Wow, lot of time. Yeah. Well, I mean, You're trying to get big with this, are you not?
Yeah, I work every single day
Yeah,
just because I have not much else better to do right now. So
yeah, that's fair. And I mean,
like
if you want to
probably it wasn't as much before because I didn't have time, but right now like school's done for me, semester's done,
yep.
and there's no events, so I don't really practice as much. I have a couple stuff with Duelist Academy to do, but it's not as time consuming as this. So, and there's always stuff for me to do between sorting, looking into new opportunities and business relationships, listing cards, shipping cards. So, always stuff for me to do. So, may as well grind and get it done.
Do you actually have like an online website for all this, or are you just strictly just vending out through like social media?
Right now, it's Facebook, TCG Player, and eBay. So, not my own website.
Yep.
I'm like currently debating if I want to enter that kind of market where I have my own platform. But it is hard to acquire customers.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if it's the right move for me yet. I think I have bigger issues to tackle first. Because I'm not really having much traffic problem right now. It would be nice to cut down on the eBay fees, but right now I'll take it. And when I'm ready, I think I'll transition to having multiple platforms running. Or yes, enough. I'm already running on TCG and Facebook.
Yep. So essentially, you're just running
eBay,
as So essentially, you're just running as like a small, like independent vendor for now. That's just, like not quite a side thing per se, but it is definitely at that level and it's trying to grow.
Yeah, I mean, I do a decent amount of volume right now. Like, not to bash any of your local stores, but I'm probably doing more online volume than a good amount of them.
Yep.
But honestly, I can't even expand into a storefront right now if I wanted to, or wouldn't be smart. There's no benefit to it right now. So there's no physical like storefront, although it is another possibility for the future.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'd be doing a good service for a lot of people around the area, considering that not every single store has like a singles collection, even for like commons and rares. So it can get really tricky if you really want to dive into those ones. Do you carry those kind of cards as well, like commons and rares?
I do. I have a lot of stuff. I open significant amounts of every new set, so I'll have commons, rares, supers, plenty of, and then obviously the higher end cards. Like I'll have a good amount of, but while supplies last because they're hot for a reason.
Yeah, of course.
However, Game Nation is in my area. They are like 25 minutes from me, so there's never too much of an issue for customers, to be honest. They can always hit up Game Nation, and they should have the product or the singles. They're a great store as well.
It's crazy how much like cards come into that store. I see Ray post all the time about what he gets in for the day, and that's like something I couldn't even get for. It might take me the whole month to get something like half as much as what he got. It's crazy how much he gets into a store.
Yeah, that's the positives of being in a very, very urban area.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, also at the same time, too, like, big shout out to Ray, man. He's also like a phenomenal guy as well. And
Absolutely.
I love being around.
Yeah.
I love being around that guy. He's a pleasure to talk to, a pleasure to deal with, and I got nothing but good things to say about him. I haven't visited the store. I feel bad, but I really don't go to Toronto as much nowadays unless I'm going for regionals. So it's a store I'd love to go visit. Sometime.
It's not too far from where the regionals are right now, so you should go by after one of them.
Is it? Oh, it's close to University of Toronto in Scarborough.
Probably 15-minute drive. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's not too bad then, and that's where you traditionally play for your own locals.
Yeah. If I honestly don't play too many locals because if I'm not traveling, then it's my weekend off, so I'm not gonna play locals. I travel so much that it's more often than not that I'm at events. I don't really play locals. I go there to hang out. Like I'll play Cube or DC or some other video game or board game. So I'll show up like later in the day, but I don't. Yeah, that is typically where I go, yes.
Now, I've seen you in a new Facebook group, the TCG Refs and Trading Card group, man. I see you're one of the moderators that are on it. Tell me a little bit more about this group.
We're trying to make a new marketplace for people where there are more trusted sellers. We're trying to avoid some of the scamming. So that way you need references to be approved to post in that group and in the auction center. You need some more references. So we're trying to make a safer environment for everybody. I think we were just having issues with other groups having biased moderators or other faults. So we tried transitioning to something new that would be better overall for the community. So very, very new still and kind of figuring out how things go. It is primarily being led by Hernan Polito. So mostly his projects. He just had me on to help out a little bit because he knows I'm a trustworthy figure in the community.
Yep.
I do a lot of Facebook activity in terms of like selling and buying. So, and obviously a well-known figure in the competitive community. So he figured that I would be able to help out and just moderate some, I guess is the best way to put it, more some of the disputes.
What kinds of restrictions do you place on before being able to get in the group, or what conditions do you have to meet to be able to get into the group?
I don't think there's anything to get into the group, or it might be like accounts that seem like alternate accounts will be blocked. Like if you were created like a month ago, you'll be blocked probably because at this point, if you don't have Facebook, it's probably an alternate account or who knows. But in terms of posting sale posts, you need to have 20 references, so 20 people you've done business with successfully, and then to get approved in the auction group, it's 40. And if you buy cards from somebody, that counts as a transaction. If you buy cards and there was no scamming from either side, good transaction. That's another ref, and eventually you build up enough transactions you can start selling yourself. As well as you can sell on other areas of Facebook and build up your references. So it's not too hard. But once you have a good amount of previous deals and you're considered a trusted seller, is when you can start posting in the group some items for sale.
Have you had a lot of problems so far on that regard, as far as like scamming or just kind of backing out or anything of that nature?
So far, the group has not done any of that yet. We are still just doing reference checks on everybody because I think the group's like 2 days old. It's very brand new.
Got it.
It's literally in infancy right now. So currently none in that group, but I moderate Yu-Gi-Oh! Toronto Trades, which is the biggest Toronto group.
Yep.
As well as the Game Nation trade group. And I mean, constantly get tagged in some dumb stuff. Honestly, and unfortunately, most of the things I get tagged in are hate speech. To take those down. Yeah, it's honestly not often trade disputes. It sucks to see because you'd rather just be trade disputes, but it's like more like transphobic, homophobic, racist stuff. Like it's awful. That's not the stuff you want to see in your community. So obviously, I take it down, and I have to warn the person: do this again, you'll be banned. So I mean, it's not really what you want to see, but that honestly has been way more common to me than actual trade disputes. People are typically able to figure those ones out by themselves.
Yep, that's fair. I mean, we all know what happens when you form a Yu-Gi-Oh group and then you kind of let all hell break loose when practically no rules are in place. We've seen how that goes. Well, let's not name it, but we definitely know how that goes. As far as like making like racist, transphobic, homophobic comments, like anything of that nature that should not belong in a Yu-Gi-Oh group. We've seen it. If people can like crap post like that, they will.
Yeah, it sucks. Like I hate to say it, but it's there. Can't deny its existence.
Yeah, and that's not something we really need. Especially we're trying to be a Yu-Gi-Oh group. We want to not have a bad reputation per se. We want to make we kind of want to like make the game better. We want to grow the game, not make it look like a bunch of like jerks just going around saying all these stupid things.
Yeah,
it's absolutely terrible, man. So we went back to mentioning you being like a UDS champion, a YCS champion. You've won a couple. We've also seen you kind of fall short, just in a couple second places. What's the feeling of being at the finals of a YCS, UDS, or World, whatever, of those big events?
It's very different every single time. So I kind of explained kind of the biggest ones for me. So the first World Championship was probably the biggest like pressure for me. The 2017 World Championships. At this point, I had not won a YCS. Actually, no. The biggest pressure for me ever was definitely 2016 Nationals, where at the playoff for Worlds, where it was the 6th, 7th playoff. Winner goes to Worlds, loser doesn't. And I made a very, very stupid mistake. We swapped decks in the match. It was awful. And that pressure is probably the worst. And that's probably the only loss that I've had that actually like devastated me and like hurt like emotionally. But otherwise, I'm pretty strong and can handle a loss. Like 2017 World Championships, there's a lot of anxiety and stress, but you get over it. But it's very, very butterflies in the stomach the entire weekend. My first YCS finals is very similar because it's something I've been wanting to accomplish for a while. It was very surreal, and when it happened, it was crazy. And I'm not a super emotional type of guy. Like, I didn't pop off. I got happy, but I didn't like have any crazy reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I think after that, though, it didn't hit me as hard. Because the next finals was like a year and a half later. Because all of 2018, like I topped maybe 9 events, but I didn't win a single match in Top Cut.
Yeah.
Almost all of those events. Like,
Oh, jeez.
it was a joke because I won 2 matches at Chile in 2018, and then I won 1 match in Top Cut at one event. I don't remember what it was, but out of a lot of tops, and almost none of them I won a match in Top Cut. It was Utah that I won a match.
Yeah.
Even like the World Championships were swept Swiss and then just lost first round of Top Cut. And World Championships again very pressured, but not as much as before. And then 2019, I'd kind of grown so much as a player, and I'd already experienced so much that pressure didn't really get to me. Like when I was in the finals of Sydney, my second finals, I was pumped. I wasn't nervous. I was excited. I wanted to get a second win, and when I lost, I didn't mind that much. I kind of just like slept at night thinking, "Wow, I got second again." Or I got second. That's funny.
Yeah,
like, it didn't really matter that much. Like I wasn't really salty, and I'm happy that I wasn't. I really don't ever be salty with people, but I can gladly say it didn't hit me that hard, and I'm very thankful for that. And then 2 months later, I got Atlanta, and I got second again with my friends. I was a little more disappointed because I let my friends down.
Yep.
I was the third person to lose, or the last person to play, and I lost the match. Made a stupid error. The error wasn't actually a loss in the match, but I did make an error. And regardless, it sucks to let people down. Especially my teammate Asala, who is one of the most deserving people to win an event, and he still hasn't won. And him getting second he also won his finals match. And the fact that me and our other teammate lost was very upsetting. So I was upset about that, but even that didn't faze me that much. And then finals of Knoxville, I was playing another close friend, Dominic Couch. So I was just very happy. I was very happy to be in the finals with him. And I think he was more nervous than I am because he was still a lot more, I guess, not used to the pressure. But for me, like it was my 20th top. So that was just kind of, for me, it was like not the biggest deal.
Yeah.
I think it was my 9. No, I don't think it was my 20. I think it was my 19. It was one of those. But so for me, it wasn't super crazy, and I did win it, which was great, and I was super happy about it. That one was a little more of a relief because after getting second like twice, and then my third finals within a 5-month span, I did really want to win and prove myself. It was a little crazy that I got second. I got 3 finals, and if I was 0 for 3, it would have been a little embarrassing. The World's Playoff was also kind of intense because it was not like before where it was just the by nats you knew where you stood. It was no matter how good you did in the race. Now, if you're top 16, it's a single elim bracket, which is scary because if you get unlucky, you can just be out. But luckily, I came back from unlucky hand game 3 in my top 4 match, my finals match. So that was very stressful, more stressful than a YCS, to be honest. Maybe it's because I also played a deck I wasn't familiar with, but that was kind of scary. And then this World Championships, even the 2019 one, is my third one. I honestly wasn't as scared. I'm definitely becoming more and more comfortable as they all pass.
Yep. We've seen you do really well on the road, especially in different countries. Like, you won. I'm pretty sure you won Knoxville.
Yes.
You were first place in there. I think you won another championship. I think you were out in Europe when you won another championship. Was finals?
Yeah. So my like kind of self goal is to win on every single continent or to play Yu-Gi-Oh. It's a joke. It's like all the Infinity Stones.
Yep.
I'm actually currently the only person to have a top on each continent. Most people are missing one continent because I've topped in South American events such as Chile, Peru, topped Central America like Panama, Mexico, topped North America, which those are my majority, and I topped Europe as in London. So, and then Japan too, if I count that as well. I have topped
for the World Championships
in Japan.
Yep.
A lot of people wouldn't count that because it's not TCG, which is fine. If you count it, it's there. If you don't, it's not. And one of the few people at the top every type of event, a World Championship, a Nationals, a YCS, and a UDS. But yeah, I mean, I love the traveling, and I have done well online. I won one in Panama, and I won one in North America, and I've won one in Europe. So it's crazy. Goal is to win Australia and South America next. Got second in Sydney, so close, but no cigar. That one kind of hurt because like that deck, I felt like I had by far the best deck in the room, and I went undefeated the entire tournament,
Yep.
including getting 3 game losses for being late to the match because I had my bad stomach that weekend.
Oh, really? Oh,
and still just didn't lose a match. Like so, that to me was like I had the best deck by far, and then just got destroyed in the finals to bad hands.
yep.
Which happens, but it's fine. And then Brazil, I wanted to try and get my win in South America, but it got canceled because of COVID while we were there. So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
still got those 2 to get.
Yeah, I've heard that stories before. I knew a lot of people. I think around your team. I think John Wilkin was trying to travel in between several different regionals during that time too, while you were down south.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you can confirm. I'm pretty.
Yeah,
I think
he
you can confirm
was
that?
using world points. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I would have to be really upset if I had that happen to me. But I'm sure you do a whole lot like outside of Yu-Gi-Oh when you're traveling. Like you go like sightseeing and whatnot.
Absolutely, yeah. So when the whole COVID outbreak kind of happened, originally it was the one room was the Canadian, it was Mishak and Siobhan, and then the other rooms were there were like a couple other rooms that were really close to the Ecuadorians, and then another group of Americans, and the Canadians were going to stay until Tuesday night, and we're going to go see a bunch of different places. I'm still researching what we wanted to do. I was looking into visiting the part of the Amazon where we can see a rare type of, not really a monkey, but for the sake of it, we'll call it a monkey. It's called the golden tamarind marmoset. So that kind of got scrapped. When the event got canceled, we decided to go to the touring on Saturday, Sunday, this time with the Americans and Ecuadorians because they were all there.
Mm-hmm.
We went to go up like a bunch of the mountains. We saw like wild marmosets there. And so we still saw a bunch. Then we go out, went to like a Brazilian steakhouse. And
love that.
The hotel was on the beach, so we like go to a bar on the beach and hang out there till like 2 a.m, like every single night. And we had no events, so now it didn't matter.
Yeah, of course.
It was fun. I still enjoyed the event, despite it being very, very unfortunate. We flew all the way to Brazil, which isn't a cheap flight, and then got it canceled last minute. I had a very fun time.
Yeah,
I think most people did still.
Are you a big alcohol drinker?
No, I don't drink.
No, you don't. Oh, you don't drink at all.
I've drunk like maybe 4 or 5 times, and every time I do, I just get sleepy. So
okay,
I've stopped doing that because I just don't find it fun. I just fall asleep, and that's not the good type of drunk.
Yeah, so, it's just not your thing.
No. Yeah, I'm not like I'm against it. I just if I do it, I fall asleep, and that's not fun for anybody. So
yeah,
there's no point in me doing it, and it's just So when we're at the bar, like I'll have my Coke Zero or whatever, and I'll relax. And I'm fine to just relax and watch other people. And it gets funny when they have arguments. I think in Brazil, so I'll give some backstory. In top 4 at Atlanta, 3v3, Aaron Furman and Galileo, 2 amazing players, played each other. And they had some stupid ruling issue where Galileo used multi-roll so Furman couldn't respond, then used Afterburner to destroy Phantasme, and Furman negated, and neither of them realized he couldn't do that until like later. Yep. And then randomly they both got drunk in Brazil and started arguing about it 8 months later. Again. And we had to stop them because they were just getting mad at each other for a stupid ruling that literally did not matter because their match didn't matter who won. They didn't finish their match.
Yeah.
It was literally insignificant, and they just kept arguing about it. It was so stupid.
How fun was it for you to watch that conversation kind of unfurl?
It was funny. There were a lot of funny things. I definitely enjoy the watching drunk people happen more than being drunk. So
yeah, that's fair.
I guess that's people do dumb stuff.
I guess that's another reason why you can keep yourself sober, so you can kind of watch all this happen.
Yeah, I like to watch by the sidelines. People doing dumb stuff.
Yeah. Are you a big sports fan at all?
No, not really.
Not really? Okay. So what are your favorite things to do then when you go out and travel to all these different places outside of Yu-Gi-Oh?
I love nature, honestly. So I like to see all the different species that are kind of exclusive to an area.
Yep.
Or I love history as well. So some examples are, we went to Australia. We went to a national park.
Yep.
Where they're called Ku-ring-gai Chase Basin. Where we wanted to go snorkeling to see seahorses.
Oh, that has to be so
We didn't see any. We saw an octopus, though.
Yep.
And I actually screwed up. It was supposed to be a group of 7 of us going there. It was like Mishak, Raphael, Nevin, Bowden, and then it was a group of 6 of us. 2 Australians, Luke Campo and Glenn Aziz. The latter 2 aren't really big players. They were just local friends of Bowden's that were great hosts to us foreigners. Mm-hmm. And I plan the whole thing because if I don't plan anything, oftentimes nothing gets done.
There always has to be at least one person that's got to
I
plan
hate to
something
be
or
the guy
nothing
that
gets done.
forces people to do something, but if I don't, then we just sit there. They took us to locals one day in Australia, and it was awful. I'm like, why did we do this? Like, I should have just planned something. I was trying not to be pushy, but my mistake.
Yeah.
So we planned this snorkeling thing, and they had instructions on how to get there. It was like, go to this place, this wharf beach, then take a ferry, and you'll be there. I'm like, okay. So then it also had an address, a separate address. So I didn't realize that address was not actually where you're supposed to go.
Uh-oh.
So I put us in the address, and we're in 2 cars, and we drive, and we're like, why are we at the top of a mountain? And I'm like, what? And I look, and I called the tour company, like, oh, yeah, so that is another way to get here, but now you have to do a 3-kilometer hike up and down a mountain to get here. And we're all in our sandals and swimming trunks. I'm like, ah. And I'm like, how long is the drive? 2 hours around the mountain, so we missed the snorkeling thing.
Oh, no. That would have been so fun.
It was a really cool experience, though. I actually enjoyed hiking up and down the mountain, although a couple of them were very unhappy.
Yeah.
On the way back, half of us split up because instead of climbing up the mountain, they were like, nah, we'll just take the ferry and Uber to our cars, which was not cheap. And they did that, which was very... So, I mean, that's the type of stuff I love doing. And then in the history aspect, we went to Milan in 2018. Not a good trip for me because of a lot of reasons. But the only good part was after the event, we woke up at 3 a.m, took a 2-hour train to Rome.
Yep.
And one of my friends, Marcello, one of the better European players in the world, actually lives there. So he toured us around. He let us see the Colosseum. Forum.
Beautiful.
He took us to. He basically has it in with one of the pizza shop owners, and he got them to stay open after the lunch rush. They're supposed to be closed. They had a private restaurant. They're bringing all different types of pizzas.
Oh wow!
And unfortunately, I was just dead by 5 p.m. because of the whole weekend. I couldn't even stand up, but it was still an incredible experience. So like I don't remember the names, like the fountain.
Fountain of Trevi.
Yes,
the Trevi Fountain.
And the steps. So I remember all this stuff. It was just a little blurry because I was so tired. And I was also dealing with a lot of other like external BS that happened that weekend. But like stuff like that is really what I enjoy. One thing I really wish I did, and I'm very mad at my friends. When we went to Peru, they didn't want to stay longer, and I don't know why. I had to beg them, and no one else wanted to. And usually my go-to person for traveling is Shaq because he doesn't care about the tournament. He'll go and play, but doesn't actually care. And then we'll go do sightseeing together. But you couldn't go to Peru, so I was by myself, and the other guys kind of bailed out on me. I really wanted to just take a $70 1-hour plane ride to Machu Picchu and see that. And no one else did, and I was very upset. So I didn't get to do that. No. But that would have been so cool.
Man, are you a big foodie as well?
I'm pretty picky.
Oh, you're pretty picky? Okay. What's one of the greatest things you've eaten on the road for Yu-Gi-Oh? It can be even local. It can be local. It can be like just even in the States or wherever. What's the best thing you've ever eaten?
I don't think I have the best thing.
No?
I love Brazilian steakhouses. Like Texas Roadhouse is very good. I haven't gone with anything like super crazy, to be honest.
Yep.
I really love Indian food, so maybe one of those. Really? Yeah.
Okay.
Very odd because I'm picky in almost every other regard.
Yeah.
But
well,
I don't know if I have a favorite.
Oh no. Okay. All right. Well, but Indian food is definitely like somewhere up the top.
Oh yeah, Indian food is like probably my favorite like type of food I'll get. Like I love a curry, a tikka masala, korma, butter chicken. Mm-hmm. All those are go-to options for me anytime I'm near an Indian place. And Toronto's very multicultural, so I get it pretty often.
Yes, they are absolutely. You're probably in one of the best cities in the world to,
absolutely.
to eat so many food.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And that's like I'm a big foodie myself, so anywhere I go, I have to have something that's either like special to like whatever city I'm in, or just eat at like a really nice restaurant. So I live in Peterborough, which is a population of 87,000 people. We don't have a whole lot of like multicultural food in terms of like high quality.
I used to go up to my cottage. We'd go there for food, and it'd always be just like Montana's or Kelsey's or some random chain restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, like we have some good local food here and there, but nothing as far as like high quality, outstanding that you would get in Toronto. Like if I go to Toronto, I'd like to go eat at like a fine dining sushi place. I'd like eat like at a dim sum place in Chinese food. Like I want to eat something like really nice somewhere I can't eat. That's just me. That's what I love to do. So I would imagine that you want to do, at least when you're in a different country, not just necessarily for food, that you want to do something that you can't do while you're in Toronto, despite the fact that Toronto is like a fantastic place to be in.
Yeah, I really can't explain it. Like I am very picky, but for some reason, when there's like exotic meats, I'll try it. I actually don't know why I am that way, because I will not try anything else. But for some reason, like when I was in Louisiana, I tried gator and crickets. And when I was in Australia, I tried kangaroo.
Nice.
In South Africa, I've been there many times because I used to live there. I have had like ostrich or antelope or gazelle. When I was in Peru, I had guinea pig. That was awful. Don't have that.
Oh, noted.
The big thing is I don't eat seafood. That I don't like. So I'm often put off from a lot of the Asian cuisines.
Shoot, that's unfortunate.
That is a big one for me. So that is probably the biggest restrictor.
Okay. I'm crying on the inside now. I eat almost anything that lives in the water. So we might have a slight problem if we ever eat together. I think we'd have to maybe agree on Brazilian steak. Maybe agree on Brazilian steakhouse.
Yes,
I went there in Niagara Falls because that was fantastic.
Which one did you go to?
Oh God.
Copacabana?
No, not Copacabana.
That one's my favorite.
Oh my God! I would have to look through my photos. I'm looking through right now because it's like a 5-letter word. I'll know it. Like I'm looking through my photos right now just to try to see. Is it
Fogo de Chao?
No.
Toro.
No. Like I know it when I hear it. I'm just scrolling up right now, and I'm getting close to the photos. But God, I love Brazilian steakhouse. Brasa. Brasa was the place.
Brasa, yeah. I don't know if I've been to that one.
No,
it is very good. I've been to like probably like 5 different chains across the world. I've enjoyed it almost every time, except for one in Mexico I got dragged to. It's supposed to be great, called Pampas. I'm gonna get flack for this for the Mexican community because they love it. I don't think it's that good. It's specifically cheaper, and food quality reflects the cheapness. Oh yeah. And there's a bunch of weird meats. Like I tried cow tongue, was not a fan. Chicken hearts, which are
I love chicken hearts.
I was just, I mean, they're okay. Like I don't love them, but they're not terrible.
Yeah.
It's not as good quality. It was like $20 a meal, but that definitely got reflected with the food. I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
my family style, like crying kids and stuff. It's definitely more what you expect out of those chain random American restaurants.
Yeah, because you don't see a lot of kids in like Brazilian steakhouse, considering how expensive it is.
A family's not going to bring their kids to a $60 dinner.
No, and exactly that.
If the kid's not going to appreciate it,
Yeah, why would you? Well, I mean, I'm sure it'd be a little bit less, but still, it's a lot of money out of your wallet anyway for just feeding your kid.
Yeah, the kid's just going to have mashed potatoes and.
that's what you want to be feeding your kid at a Brazilian steakhouse.
Yeah, it's.
But that's just one of my favorite experiences I love to do though when I'm on the road is just eat something different. And I'm sure in your case it's travel to see new sites.
Absolutely. I'd love to see the cultural historical stuff and then the animals. Europe is not as much for flora or fauna. So it's more historical stuff there. Like for sure London the year I went first and second time I went to the London Eye first, saw Big Ben, all in the same area. Did a little bit of sightseeing there. Milan, we went to Rome. Berlin, we went to see the Gestapo HQ, the Arch. We went to go see like the all remnants of the Berlin Wall. In Panama and Guatemala and Mexico, I haven't done that much, unfortunately. But like Sydney, went snorkeling, saw the Opera House, saw the Big.
Oh, nice.
Always I'd try to find stuff to do. In Peru, like I went to go visit Kennedy Park, which is just a small national park, much like cats that are very friendly to feed, and they have a beautiful coastline. Brazil, went up climbing the mountains, saw marmosets. In Chile, we stayed for like a week in some like national park area. I went to go hiking a little bit, and went to like a Chilean zoo and explored the city a little bit. So I always try and explore. I very much enjoy that type of stuff. And then you always get these crazy, wacky adventures. I have endless stories of just insane stuff happening, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
I'm pretty sure you could take up about maybe 2 or 3 episodes of podcasts of me just asking you like travel stories, considering you've been like all over the world.
So many stuff that I couldn't believe have happened, but have happened to me that are like, wow. Some close calls, some incredible luck. It's all over the place.
Jeez, I'm glad you're still standing here before us today. Oof.
Yeah, the Chile one, I was looking for a Walmart, and then I didn't know Walmart didn't exist there, or it kind of does, but by a different name. It's called Leader, or I don't. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation, but just excuse that. And so I searched up for Walmart. The plan was we're staying there for a week. Let's go buy some groceries, so we're not wasting money on food every day.
Yeah.
So looking for a Walmart, and it popped up in my Google Maps. It did. I now know afterwards that was a Walmart manufacturing warehouse. Not available for public entry.
Oh, that's not good.
I also did not bring an adapter with me for their plugs, so I could not charge my phone. And my friend Darren had no signal. And the rest of our group hadn't arrived yet into Chile. So we went to Walmart with 15% battery. I needed to go buy an adapter, and food. And we arrived with like 8% left. I wasn't really saving battery because I figured we'll get there, I'll have my plug, we'll be good.
Yeah.
We get there, the security guard's like, "Why are you here?" I'm like, "We want to buy stuff." He looks at me all confused, and thank God he spoke English because it was very 50-50 there if they spoke English or not.
Yep.
And we found out we were in the wrong spot, and we went 30 minutes outside of like the normal area, like in a rougher area now. And that's why there was so much security here. I'm like, oh my God, where are we? And I had like 6% on my phone. My friend had basically no phone. The security guard offered to drive us somewhere, and I'm like, this is still very, very weird. Like, I don't want to trust some random guy. So like, we got to a Walmart, and my phone died as the Uber came, like just in time to take us to the new Walmart. Or we just went to any mall. Hopefully had like a store to buy a plug. And I found the plug. My phone is dead. And I had to pray that we actually actually took us to the right place. They did. I honestly met everybody I met in Chile was great, but I didn't want to take any chances.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I just sat and plugged my phone into a random wall outlet in a mall and sat there for an hour as my phone slowly charged. So that I could get back to our hotel. It was soft. Oh, actually, it's not even the beginning of it. The reason why we also got so screwed was we showed up to our hotel and it didn't exist. It didn't exist. It had got demolished a year earlier.
Oh, what?
And we had to call hotels to call them and like, we'll look into it. And by the time all that was done, they said, yeah, my bad, we got scammed. And we have to go find a new hotel like on the fly with not knowing how to communicate with these people. And I wasted so much battery calling back and forth, and I forget where my hotel was. Oh, man, it was just so rough. I loved that trip, but the first day was so scary.
I would imagine so, trying to get yourself around. I was just going to ask, how did you even book that hotel, but you got scammed? How did that happen?
Hotels.com was like, we thought this existed. Well, Hotels.com works like, not really like Airbnb, but kind of like Airbnb, where they have somebody like post the rooms up for sale. Then it was a hotel room. It was more like an apartment building where they rent out the room. So very much like Airbnb.
Yeah.
But it apparently had been there, and they just never delisted it. And
ouch.
We bought it, and then we went, and it was not there.
Oh, that has to be degrading, and that has to be a little bit humiliating for sure, but that can't be a good feeling.
I was not worried about the humiliating. I was more worried about getting off the streets of Chile.
Yeah, because it's a foreign country. You don't know like how it is out there. You don't know what part of town you're in. So I can understand, just being a little bit sketched out.
Yeah, I would just rather be wary. Like I'd even if it is safe, I don't want to sleep outside. Like,
no, I don't.
No reason to sleep outside.
I mean, I wouldn't.
And like I was still just starting to travel like internationally back then, so I'd know everybody. Like now I know people in South America. I could have maybe asked for help, but back then, like my reach and my relationships were a lot less developed, and I had no idea what to do.
Well, I mean, it's good now that you're starting to develop all these relationships, man, because it feels like you don't have to get yourselves into these extreme situations again. Or let's hope so.
We have someone there to help you. That way, if something goes wrong, you always got backups. Like the Milan I talked about, the bad trip, I got kicked out of my hotel because of some very stupid stuff I'd rather not elaborate on.
Okay.
Sure. But at that point, I had gotten to know a lot of Europeans better and thankfully, two Dutch friends, Hassan and Raphael, offered me the floor. And obviously, I want to stay on the floor, but it's better than sleeping on the streets, and it's better than paying for a brand new hotel room the night of the event. So take it with grace. They didn't make me pay anything. I was very
that's nice.
happy about that. But it's great when you have people helping you out. It's nice.
Yeah, and I mean, you're becoming a household name now in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's nice that you can, get yourself around and with not too much trouble, and can continue what you love to do. It's like travel around, see all the sites, and play Yu-Gi-Oh! The game you love, and you've been in this game for over a decade now.
Oh, yeah, I've been playing for so long. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like I've seen you grow as from this little kid. Now that you're like a full-grown adult, everything, and you're just completely dominating everything. I'm pretty sure my record against you is I'm 0-2-1 against you right now.
0-2-1, you remember? I don't remember anything. I definitely remember our Top Gun match, but
yeah. Oh right, that's okay. 3-1 because you beat me with the Necros Mirror. I didn't know how to play that thing at all, so I just kind of asked you like the last little bit. Just remind me how to play this deck a little bit more, and then you just kicked my ass in game 3. We played each other once at a regional. You were playing Denko Dolls. I was playing BA Dolls, and then we drew that one.
Okay, I don't remember that one.
Don't remember that one? Yeah, that's fair. We weren't in a high standing or anything like that. We were just I think it was like invite at that point. Then of course we played each other at Nats in Chicago. You got the first one on me, I got the second one, and then I scooped because I remember I said, the deck better than
no, I do remember that now. Yeah,
because I remember I said, all right, you know the deck much better than I do. I have little practice with this deck, and you're probably gonna take the win and make more of it than I would. And not to mention you were chasing Worlds points. Yeah, but you were also chasing Worlds points at that time. So I'm like, you're better off taking the win than I am because I'm probably gonna screw it up down the road because I'm like okay with the deck, but I wasn't that familiar with it because I only gave myself a week to play it because I was scrambling. Like that was like my last week of summer school that I was doing.
Yeah,
so like those were like the and then of course the West Toronto where you knocked me off the top. Man, that was probably one of the most intense matches I've ever had, and I can't believe it got that close. Honestly, if I don't know if you remember that, like what actually happened. Yeah,
I remember thinking I was undefeated in the whole tournament until top 4. So
yeah, because
I conceded the last 2 rounds. Yeah,
because you wanted to go like just F off. Yeah.
I remember thinking I was going to 2-0 you, and then you had the book Exciton for the skill drain.
I discarded a max
game 3.
Yeah, I discarded a max C as well to also get my hand size down.
Yeah,
it's like hard count down, so that way I could Exciton you. I remember that much, and then I remember my big move that I did was I needed a Hail Mary. Like I needed to make an Abyss Dweller to clear your board, so I had to go to Daigusto Emerald, and I had to draw a Manju or Senju to win. So at least win game 2. That's what I had to do to beat you. And luck was in my favor, and I got it. But then I remember and then time hit, and then we had to do the 2 turns each, and you got me with the Nightmare Shark because you were able to make Nightmare Shark on absolute backjack, and I didn't have a Vulcan hand. I went for a gamble, I didn't get it, and that's where you eliminated me. So even when I was at my best, you're still taking me down.
That event was another one that I think I should have won. I lost in top 4 because I made a I don't know if I want to call it a mistake or I just made a miscalculation.
Yep.
But game I don't know which game 1 or 2, my opponent backjack, looked at us 3, and then didn't Scarm search. So I thought, okay, he has a really strong trap on top. And I played around it, and I could have won that turn, or I could have played around the broken trap and still won. And I did win the game. However, it took 20 minutes to play around the top deck. Turns out he just forgot to Scarm search. His top card was not a special trap.
Oh, shoot.
And then we went to time game 3, and he just goes bar and sets emptiness. And I couldn't beat the emptiness, and after taking 900 damage. So
shoot. Yep.
It was upsetting, because if I hadn't played around some imaginary mistake he made, then we wouldn't have gone to time in game 3 and wouldn't have just got randomly locked out by a bar emptiness combo. So.
Yeah. I feel like that's a skill that a lot of people don't have is time management when they look at the clock and realize, is it the right time to just scoop it up and let's go to game 3 or whatnot? Because I've seen Gabriel Vargas even just go to game 2. He said, like, you win. I'm just gonna let you have this game and go grid to game 3, and then he wants to side and go first. I think that's a skill that a lot of players don't have right now. So I don't know what
it is
your thoughts are.
important for sure.
Yeah. So like, is there any kind of rule that you kind of take to yourself when you notice like if the clock's getting low, like depending on what the game situation is, if you're already up one but it's game 2 and they look like they might have it?
Honestly, like it's fine to just concede game 1, so you have plenty of time for the rest of the games.
Yep.
Don't concede game 3. Obviously, there's no reason to.
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes it may also get to their head that you conceded game 1 with no hand trap, and then
Yep.
game 3 didn't concede. So sometimes they just play themselves, which is kind of stupid. But players do it, and they get they overthink things, and then kind of beat themselves, which unfortunately for them does happen a little too often. But that's something people also need to work on. But there's that small thing, but there's no reason to play a losing game, and the chance of your opponent making a misstep in this day is so unlikely because people practice the combos over and over again. So all they're doing is doing some same FTK and just watching it. There's no reason to. You know it's over.
Yeah.
Unless you have any real reason to scout for a specific card or choices, you may as well just concede. There's no reason to do that. Another big thing is don't overthink simple scenarios. That wastes a lot of time. Like,
yeah,
that happens to me a lot. Where I see something simple, and it's easy to go for it, but I see other people take minutes on minutes, and it stacks up every time they do that, and that's how they end up going to time. And I think I rarely go to time because I don't need to overthink things. I kind of just have these plays in my mind already that I kind of know what to do. So maybe this comes from me playing for so long that I know typical right approach to things. But and people just overall just overthink things that cost them too much time.
Yep, that's completely fair because I see a lot of people like play themselves and make huge mistakes, and I've been able to capitalize on so many games like that. Is there like a bit of a kind of a mind game you see against like your opponent playing themselves, considering, oh my god, I'm playing Jesse Kotton, like what do I do? Like, do you ever get that situation?
So what do you say?
So do you ever like get like people kind of play themselves whenever they go up against you? They're thinking, oh my god, like I'm playing against Jesse Kotton, like what do I do? What do I do?
Very frequently.
Yep.
Like it's very often. So
yeah. Well, I remember the regionals in November. We were sitting beside each other, and I think you were playing against the guy who was playing Invoked, and I remember you commenting about him, like he was kind of getting a little bit antsy and a little bit like he's trigger happy.
Oh man, that was probably the most unpleasant person to play in that regional. Unfortunately,
yeah,
he was extremely slow to play, and when he had no options, but that kind of peeved me because he was literally thinking about turning his guy to attack or defense. That took him like 2 minutes, and I had no cards. And, like, that was kind of very frustrating. A little frustrating because like I don't like to get salty, but when someone plays poorly and then like comments about how I played, I get upset because it's just kind of like, okay, like you didn't need to call me out for something like that when you're the one that made mistakes. So that was not a very pleasant match, but yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I know you remember vividly. I think we sat beside each other about 2-3 times at regionals because we were at the top tables at that point in time. And I'm like, oh man, and I was thinking during that time, like, thank God I don't have to play Jesse Kotton right now. I'm like, I'd rather not. Like, can I get a regional top already, please? I didn't. I lost the last round on that one to two brick hands. But I'm like, okay, I'm glad I didn't have to play Jesse at least. Truthfully speaking, that was going through my mind. You played Siobhan in the last round?
Yeah.
Oh, did you? I forget who he was, but like I know he was like kind of like a bigger guy. He was wearing a yellow shirt. I think he was of brown color. I think he was from like Quebec. That's who I played against.
Yeah, I know who you played it. I don't want to butcher it. It's Ahmed Mustafa.
Yeah, that's right.
The name may be reversed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, Mustafa was definitely in his name. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I know Myrtle beat him earlier in the day too. That was his only loss that day. So yeah, you're right. It is Mustafa. Like, oh man, and I didn't really get a chance to really play because I bricked both hands.
It happens. It happens. It's happened to me in the finals of a YCS.
Yeah,
and so I know this feeling. It's happened to me in the top bid of a World Championships. Yep. So I know that feeling. It sucks, but there's nothing you can do about it.
So let's spin the feeling around now. How does it feel to actually win a UDS or YCS championship?
It's very surreal. Like when you lie down in bed that night, you're thinking, wow, I can't believe I did it.
Yeah.
A great feeling of accomplishment for sure. Um, it's just so much excitement and there's joy for me every time I've won. Like I've definitely had a great time every single time. Like we celebrated in London, went to a Brazilian steakhouse.
Mhm.
I went with friends all night in the lobby. I watched like Bowden and Furman's play Goat a bunch. We just chilled and talked. Knoxville cubed until like 3 in the morning. We ordered Chick-fil-A, like 20 of us, and just hung out. But no. We did that the day after that. No, we went to uh, after we went to a barbecue place on the river. We fed baby ducks. That's what we did.
So you fed
Um,
baby ducks?
yeah, there was like this
Oh,
really like high rated barbecue restaurant, and there was
oh,
like a half an hour wait, which we didn't mind. And then next to it was like by this very gorgeous like river. And there was just a thing where 25 cents and they give you like some duck pellets.
yeah.
And there were a
Oh,
bunch of
nice.
baby ducks. I'm like, oh, why not? 25 cents, who cares? We're all feeding baby ducks, and that was fun.
Oh, that would be so
Um,
fun. I love feeding ducks. So cute.
yeah, I mean, every time's been crazy. Even like the World's playoff was very, very cool. With the went to one of my friends Ned's birthdays that night, and then I picked up some very cool collectible items that I wanted for my personal collection that night as well. So, and then not having to worry about the main event and just chilling, really great. So obviously, like winning feels amazing. I'm not gonna say it doesn't.
Man, there's like so much about you that I never knew until after talking to you today, man. This has been like really fascinating to kind of hear you come out. Like I never knew you were big into nature, big into history. I never pictured that with you, and
Oh yeah, I
it's
can
yeah,
definitely be a very nerdy person. Like my GM entertainment on YouTube is I have all this stupid um, learning channels. Like
yeah,
I don't know the names of them. I'm not able to subscribe. I just go with YouTube recommended for
yeah.
like. Let's see what my YouTube recommended is right now. Let's pull it up. First one is load YouTube. Um, GeoGuessr World City. Oh yeah, just geography stuff. Another
Yep.
one, Immovable Object with Unstoppable Force, which wins by Minute Physics. Like a bunch of just random knowledge ones. Next one is European countries' colonial flags. It's
Yep.
I just enjoy random. I like learning things. I like knowledge
I
or
mean, that's
random
good.
stuff like trivia stuff's even like just stupid, but I enjoy it. So, um, big into that stuff. I love learning about like Roman history, Greek history, Egyptian history. Um, that's very very interesting to me. And then nature as well. Like I've done a lot of cool stuff with nature. Like I went um, snorkeling with manta rays in Hawaii. I've
Oh,
been
beautiful.
cage diving with great whites in South Africa.
Yep.
What other cool stuff have I done? I can't even remember, but I've done a lot of very interesting like animal related stuff. That's definitely like very important to me when I go to these events.
Remind me to bring you to if I ever go out for trivia night. Remind me to bring you along because I need you to
Oh,
cover those
I'm not
bases.
that good at trivia. It's not all that obscure stuff. I don't study it for trivia's sake. I just enjoy learning random BS. And
All right.
it's still very restricted to specific topics.
All right, maybe I'll have to get you back in a couple of years then once you get a little more experience. Then, yeah? How about that?
Oh, and trust me, if you try to give me a pop culture, I'm just gonna fail. So
Okay, well, I won't worry about that one. Maybe I'll just get you for like history, geography, and whatnot. Well, on geography, I'm not bad at, but history, I could learn a little bit more about. But
you can give me some ancient civilizations history, and I may get you.
okay, good. Okay, good. I'll have you covered for that one at least. All right, man. We're closing out on the last couple of minutes here, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you, man. It's nice to learn about different kinds of stuff about you because we've never had the lengthy conversation with you per se. All of our talks with you have been about Yu-Gi-Oh! So this is really cool to really get to know you outside of the game. I find it really fascinating that you have all these likes and interests that typically the average person doesn't really have.
I mean, everyone will have more to them than just their duelist aspects, but yeah, I do consider myself a little different. I have some weird tastes, and I'm not ever afraid of expressing that I don't enjoy the same stuff as everyone else. But it's part of who I am, so I'm happy with it.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's kind of how it defines like us as an individual. So it's great to have you on, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out to talk to me. Any like kind of shout outs or any plugs you want to do before we take off?
Sure. So obviously, check out Game Nation. There's 4 in Toronto. They do have a website called YugiOMarket.com. If you use the code ProPotato, you get 5% off for all singles. Obviously, if you're ever on eBay, TCG player, look for the username ProPotato. That is myself. And if you ever want a card signed, you can message me, and I can sign the card you purchase. At the same time, I saw a bunch on Facebook. Shout outs to Duelist Academy, of course. We provide a lot of coaching, content, and a lot of informative aspects to Yu-Gi-Oh! And some fun stuff too. We're branching more into the light aspects of Yu-Gi-Oh! We're going to start uploading vlogs to our YouTube, which is free content. And then, because we do as I've talked, some crazy stuff in these trips. We think it'll be fun for people to see. And I think that's pretty much it in terms of shout outs.
And all of those links will be below in the description, so you can visit every single one of them. I know that I've gone to YugiOMarket.com a couple times to look up some cards and get some off Ray. Jesse, man, it's been an absolute pleasure for you to come onto the show. I really appreciate you. Again, this is Jesse Kotton, UDS champion, multiple YCS champion, world's competitor, and arguably one of the best players in the world, also ARG's 2018 Player of the Year, also known for wearing the potato. Great costume.
Yes, the potato suits.
Jesse, thank you so much for being on the show, man.
Thanks so much for letting me be here.
Absolutely. You have a great day, man. Don't forget to like and subscribe. For more information, check out the Gate Expectations podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Patreon, Twitter, and Spotify.